At some point in the last year, there was probably a man who sat across from you at a dinner table and felt like he was being interviewed for a job he wasn't quite sure he even wanted. He couldn't name exactly why, but something in the way you held yourself, the questions that you asked, the way you scanned his answers before you even finished them, it told him this wasn't quite a normal date. You didn't notice, because to you, you were just being yourself. And that is exactly the gap I want to talk to you about today. You've built a profession and a career, maybe even bought an apartment, and created the life that most people only talk about. You make decisions that probably affect hundreds, if not even thousands of people, and you have earned all of it. And yet, in this one area of your life that is supposed to feel very natural and organic and beautiful, you keep running into the same wall. It's not loneliness exactly, but something stranger. The frustration of being the most capable person in every room while not being able to figure out why intimacy won't cooperate with the rest of your life. Does that sound familiar? What if the skills that build everything you are so proud of for good reasons are the exact things keeping the right man at a distance? So by the end of this video, you will understand the specific mechanism behind that pattern, and you will have something really concrete to try before your next date. So let's start by naming what is actually happening here, because I want to be very clear about this one thing first. This is not a character flaw in you. The traits I'm about to describe, like hypervigilance, rapid decision making, and strong leadership, are not problems at all. They are tools that you built and refined because your environment demanded them, and you earned the right to carry them. When you are managing a team or negotiating a high-stakes deal, that armor is exactly what you need to survive and thrive. It keeps you sharp, it keeps you protected, and it signals to everyone around you that you're not someone to be underestimated. The issue is not that you have this armor, but the fact that you never actually quite take it off. You will walk out of a high-pressure meeting, get into your car, and walk straight into a date still fully dressed for war. You have the same posture, the same habits of scanning the other one's weaknesses, and that same instinct that leads and assesses the situation before anyone else can even assess you. Be honest with yourself for a second. Do you find yourself vetting a man's answers before he even finishes, his sentence? That's a survival skill that's at work here right now. But it's a wall on a date. Actually, tell me in the comments, what's the one work habit you find hardest to turn off when you're with a man? Hey, I want to pause here for a second, because if you're watching this, you're probably a woman who has mastered every area of your life, except one, and it's likely a very important one to you. I know you've built a career, you've managed the teams, you've solved every problem that's been put in front of you. But the strategy that made you extraordinary in business is the exact one destroying your peace in love. You're trying to fix unavailable men because, well, fixing is the only way your control strategies feel like love. And you're exhausted by it. I've opened up some time for what I call a love alignment call. And just to be clear, this isn't a dating tip session. It's a one-on-one deep dive with my team to look at your internal relationship blueprint. Your operating system that's keeping you stuck in this loop that you so desperately desire to break free from. We'll see exactly where the gap is between your intellectual understanding and your actual results. So if you're ready to stop explaining your patterns and start changing them, click the link on the screen or in the description to book your call right now. It's free. It's fully private, and it's the first step to a different outcome. And now, let's just get back to the video. I had a client named Rachel who was a senior partner at a law firm, and she was brilliant and funny once you finally got past the surface. She came to me after 3 relationships ended in the exact same way, with different men and different circumstances, but always the same exact exit line. Every single one of them told her they felt like they could never truly get close to her. Rachel was so devastated because she wanted nothing more than to be close to someone. and she wasn't trying to be distant on purpose. That is what makes this so disorienting for you. The armor becomes automatic after a while. And it doesn't announce itself when it's on. After years of this being your default mode, you stop noticing you're even wearing it. You go on a date thinking you're being warm and open and kind and generous, but the man sitting across from you feels like he's at a job interview. The reframe I gave Rachel is the same one I want to give you right now. First of all, this is not a personality problem, but a total environmental mismatch. Your armor was built for a context that rewards control. Yet, you're trying to wear it in a context that requires surrender. I don't mean weakness or passivity, but somewhat the willingness to let something unfold without you trying to manage the outcome. So what actually happens when a woman in a full armor shows up to a date? This is where things get really interesting. When two powerful masculine energies they collide, the result is almost always one of two things. Either they completely neutralize each other, leaving you with a polite but kind of like hollow conversation that feels more like a board meeting than a date, or they begin to quietly compete for dominance. That subtle power struggle is like slow acting poison for attraction. And it kills the very thing you're looking for before it even has a chance to breathe. This dynamic has nothing to do with how smart you are, and it certainly isn't a critique of your ambition or your success. We are talking about energy here, not your identity as a woman. You can be the most formidable person in any room and still move through that space in a way that allows a man to feel like a man. These two parts of you are not in conflict, but they will start to feel that way if you don't learn how to separate them. A good man who's generally secure and emotionally developed won't ever feel threatened by what you have built in your career. In fact, he likely finds your drive incredibly attractive, but he is also instinctively searching for a woman whose energy helps him to drop deeper into his own masculinity. And that polarity is the exact place where chemistry lives. And it creates that magnetic, beautiful pull that so many of my clients tell me they just can't seem to find anymore. I remember my other client, Diana, a brilliant founder who spent 8 months dating a man who was just as successful and decisive as she was. They had a deep mutual respect and truly cared for one another. But she admitted to me that every single conversation eventually turned into a negotiation or a little bit of an ego fight. When he finally walked away, he told her that he felt more like her business partner than her romantic partner. And Diana knew exactly what he meant because she had been feeling the same lack of intimacy for months too. The counterintuitive truth that Diana had to sit with, and something you might, need to consider as well, is that the spark that she was chasing wasn't going to come from finding a man strong enough to handle her. It was only going to come when she was willing to stop competing long enough to actually connect with him. You don't achieve this by making yourself smaller or hiding your achievements, but by learning how to switch your internal operating system entirely when you leave the office. So what does it actually look like to switch that operating system before you meet a man? That's the big question, right? Your nervous system has likely been running on high alert for years because your life is filled with deadlines, high stakes decisions, and constant performance reviews, right? You have been conditioned to stay ready for a fight or a fix. And that state of mind doesn't just evaporate the moment you put on a nice dress and, some heels and get ready for your date. You have to give your brain a deliberate off-ramp from the workday because your biology isn't going to find one on its own. I always recommend a 15-minute, sensory ritual before you even leave the house. And I want you to understand that this isn't like for him. It is entirely for you, for no one else. This practice is about bringing your awareness back into your body before you walk through that door. Because your body is the only place where true feeling and attraction can live. It is neurologically impossible for you to be fully stuck in your head and fully present in your senses at the same time. So we use the senses to interrupt that constant analysis that you're going through. This ritual involves 5 very specific tests that pull you out of your professional mind. First, use a fragrance that you associate with pleasure rather than productivity. Choose something that, makes you feel like a woman instead of a professional. Second, put on clothes that makes you feel physically attractive to yourself not for him, for yourself. Focus on like how the fabric feels again on your skin, rather than just looking polished or appropriate. Third, you want to put on some music that moves you emotionally and gets you into your chest, into your heart, rather than just having something, playing in the background while you check your phone and do a couple of more emails. The fourth point, I want you to engage your senses of taste with a piece of dark chocolate or a glass of wine to pull your attention downward. And finally, move your body by dancing alone or, looking at yourself in the mirror with like a genuine appreciation instead of your usual eye of critique and criticism. Each of these actions serve as a redirection for your brain. Every time you activate a sense on purpose, you're pulling your attention away from that analytical mind that's so strong and you move it into a state of physical presence. Presence is the only thing a man truly feels when he's sitting across from you. And he isn't looking at your resume or your composure or your achievements. He's looking for you. One of my clients named Priya, she's a CFO who used to spend her entire Uber ride to a date reviewing her week or composing a few more emails in her head. She arrived at that date already somewhere else entirely. So we worked on this sensory ritual until she committed to it for 3 full weeks. The first thing she noticed had nothing to do with the man she was actually meeting, but rather how she felt walking into the room, opening the door, entering the restaurant, right? She felt lighter and slower, and she was actually curious about the human being across from her instead of running a quiet assessment evaluation of whether he meet her criteria. That shift in perspective is exactly what you're after. You aren't looking for a better performance. You're looking for a completely different experience of intimacy. So I want you to be very direct with you here and be very honest with yourself, because I know how high-achieving women might hear this advice and, they feel a bit defensive. Softness is not the same thing as silence. And it definitely does not mean you have to agree with everything or, you need to abandon your high standards. A woman standing in her feminine energy, in her femininity, is never a pushover. She has simply stopped white-knuckling the outcome of every single interaction. She can let a conversation breathe without needing to steer it all the time. And she can sit with uncertainty without feeling the need to fill the silence. The right man, a good man, doesn't want to be managed or handled. He wants to be chosen by a woman who is actually present with him the same way how he wants to choose her too. There's a version of you that already knows how to do this. And she just has been waiting for you to, give her permission to finally show up and come out again. Your success was never the thing keeping love away from you, but the armor you built to protect that success definitely played a part. And probably nobody has ever told you that it was actually safe to take that armor off. So you just kept wearing it. So before you head out to your next date, I want you to give yourself 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, to try that sensory ritual that I just mentioned. You aren't doing this because it feels romantic or, indulgent, just because you deserve to walk into that room feeling like your whole self and feeling like you're in your body. You want to be the full version of who you are, right? Not just the capable professional everyone else sees. Pay attention to how you feel when you walk in and notice if the silence starts to feel comfortable instead of like a problem you need to solve. That specific shift in your nervous system is exactly where the real change begins. And if this resonated with you, that video, then my next video goes even deeper into the pattern that follows this one very specific thing very closely. So we're going to look at why high-achieving women keep attracting emotionally unavailable men and what that cycle actually says about, where you are in your own journey. That one is going to be really worth your time too.